Hello again, everybody. It's October the 30th, 2020, and it's time for another episode of AMA Air. Coming up today, we're going to let you know who's going to be taking home that Bob Smith Industries glue package a little bit later on in the show.
We are also going to announce the winner of the iFly AMA cover photo contest.
And we've got an update from our Government Affairs Director, Tyler Dobbs. He's going to join us on the show. All that and more coming up on today's episode of AMA Air. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us on another episode of AMA Air. My name is Matt Ruddick, and you might just be recognizing that guy over there. He's helping me out today. He is the man, the myth, the legend, one of the co-hosts of the RC Roundtable, Mr. Terry Dunn. Terry, thank you so much for helping us out today on AMA Air.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, Matt. I appreciate it.
Well, let's start real quick. Let's let everybody know a little bit about who you are before we get into the meat of the show. Who exactly are you? What are some of the cool things that you do?
You want my origin story?
Yes, just like the podcast.
Okay. Well, I'm what you call an RC lifer. I've been into RC airplanes for a long time. I actually started out as a kid with control line, doing half A and 35 size stuff. Then eventually transitioned into RC, and the affliction has not left me since then. So it's something I still do today and will always do. And my main interests now are electrics, but I like to design stuff. I like to build ARFs. Within electrics, there's really nothing that I would not enjoy flying. And can I tell you about the podcast too?
Absolutely. I'd love to hear about the podcast.
Okay. So RC Roundtable is a podcast that I co-host with two of my friends, Fitz Walker and Lee Ray. And none of us can really remember how it started. The idea just popped up one day. Hey, we should do a podcast. And so we did. And now a little over 4 years later, we've got 100 and something episodes out there. And we just enjoy talking about all different things RC, mostly airplanes, but we also talk about helicopters and quadcopters, cars, boats, whatever pops into our heads is fair game.
Well, if you guys have not subscribed to the RC Roundtable, I really encourage you to go do that over at rcroundtable.com, where you can find links and everything for that. You guys do some really great stuff on there. And I hope everybody watching the show today, as soon as we're done here, goes over to your website and subscribes to your show because it's that good. But let's jump into the stories we got this week, Terry. I know we got a lot of stuff to talk about. And the first thing we're going to start with today is Drone Safety Awareness Week. You guys might remember hearing about that last year around this time. Well, it is back again. Drone Safety Awareness Week was born to help facilitate the need to educate the public about how to fly drones safely in the national airspace system. This year, Drone Safety Awareness Week will be November 16th. Through the 22nd. The AMA is going to be involved pretty heavily in this as well. We're going to be doing a couple of live streams throughout the week, and we're going to be putting out all sorts of different content to support some of those topics that you see there on your screen. One of those is actually going to be something that, Terry, you and the RC Roundtable have helped us out with.
That's right. When we were at the AMA Expo in California back in November, we had a show that we recorded live there, and we had a panel of aerospace, successful aerospace engineers, and all of them talked about how their current careers can be traced directly back to their involvement with air modeling, and most of them since they were kids. So it was something I'd had a hunch about for a long time, and was my own personal experience, but this really drove home the point that there is a direct connection between aero modeling and a future career in aerospace. Whether you want to be a pilot or engineer or whatever aspect, there's direct connections there all the way through.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys have, Mason Hutchinson and Dan Crabo from the Stratolaunch Project. You've got the RC geek, Chris Wolf, as part of that conversation. Red Jensen, who is part of the NASA model shop, who's also part of that conversation. I mean, you guys had us captivated during that session. So I'm really excited for people to see this.
Yeah, I am too.
Well, everybody, you guys can check that out again. November the 16th through the 22nd is Drone Safety Awareness Week. Head over to dronesafetyawarenessweek.com for all the information you need to be part of that event. It's going to be a great time. There's tons of great stuff you guys are going to enjoy. Let's sort of switch gears. We're going to stay on the topic of drones for just a second because we want to talk about a young man up in Detroit. So he's a drone racer that's catching some really good press in his hometown newspaper, the Detroit Free Press. His name is Jake Capobras. He's 14 years old. He is now ranked 4th in the world in the 2020 Multi-GP Global Qualifier Series. Just an incredible accomplishment for somebody that's this age. He's competing against the best of the best, really, in drone racing competition. And he's now ranked 4th and got a really cool article from the Detroit Free Press. You can see the link there at the bottom of the screen. We've also got that link in the description of this episode as well, so you can read that article for yourself. Terry, I got to ask you, have you tried your hand at drone racing yet?
Well, sort of. I have some racing quads that I fly around for fun, but I've never participated in a race. And having watched a few races, I've made the right decision. My skills, I'm not up to that skill level yet. And I'll tell you, before I actually flew my own, I didn't appreciate the skill level involved. You kind of assume that it's you're being helped by gyros and computers. Now, there's a lot of thumb action going on there that takes practice and just outright skill.
Yeah, it's really, it's hard to really explain how much skill goes into that until you actually try it. And to see somebody as young as 14 years old inside the top 4 drone pilots in the world, that's an incredible accomplishment. So congratulations to Jake up in Detroit. We'll be watching for you at the Multi-GP Championships. Let's move over to some government updates. So we've got Tyler Dobbs, who is going to be joining us here on the show today to give us some updates on what's been going on in his world. Tyler, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Thanks, Terry. Glad you guys had me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So last week, you guys had a pretty big meeting with some important groups out in D.C. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. So as many of your viewers know, remote ID, obviously, that's the main topic of discussion nowadays. And that rule has been moved from the FAA to the Office of Management and Budget. That's kind of the last part of this process. So the FAA has went through and they've reviewed the 53,000 comments. They've made changes to that proposed rule and sent it off to the OMB. And we met with the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs, it's OIRA, which is a statutory branch of the OMB. And that falls within the authority of the president. That step really is our last-ditch effort to, before the rule comes out, to make our concerns known. We've met with the OMB in the past, but we wanted just one more meeting with them. It's really a one-sided meeting just because of the Administrator's Procedures Act. They're really not allowed to discuss how the rule's going, what's in the rule, but they are inviting organizations such as AMA to come in one more time, share their concerns, supply any documents that they see fit, which is what we did. And just like our official AMA comments, those were the concerns we shared, what that proposal would do to the hobby, what it would do to manufacturers with the certification and standards requirements that were outlined in the proposed rule. We really pushed for all of the issues that we outlined, and I encourage everybody to look at those official comments. If you haven't done so yet, they're on AMA website, modelaircraft.org/gov. You can find those comments, so please read those. But really, the meeting went well. As I mentioned, it's really one-sided. You go in and in the new era of COVID, where we do all these virtual meetings, you don't get the same feeling even when you meet with OMB. You can always read body language and maybe get a little insight into how the meeting went. But when you're on a teleconference, it's not the same feel. So, but again, that was our last ditch effort before we see the final rule to make our concerns known. And when I say last ditch, that's maybe not the exact right words. We're also meeting with members of Congress still. We had them weigh in to the FAA, sharing our concerns. We're also having them weigh into the president and to the OMB to let them know, hey, this modeling community here, the proposed rule on remote ID isn't going to work for them. Many of the operators within their community are going to find it very difficult to comply with some of the requirements that were proposed in that rule, and we need to find a path that makes sense for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, for folks that are kind of wanting to get a little bit more in depth on all this stuff, we do have a blog update at modelaircraft.org/gov. Be sure to go check that out and check out that blog post. Tyler, are there any other updates that you want to share before we let you go?
Sure. In regards to the remote ID, the FAA is still maintaining that December release. There's a lot of variables in that. Just because it's in the OMB, they need additional agency sign off. So we have Department of Defense, we have Homeland Security, we have a number of other agencies. Rumors are flying, as anybody can imagine, with anything in DC. So we don't exactly know where things stand, but we're moving forward like we're going to see that rule in December. That being said, don't be surprised if we see delays before this is all said and done. The only other thing I'll touch on is the new advisory circular. We're currently operating under advisory circular 9157B, and that's not a complete advisory circular because we don't have a safety and knowledge test. We don't have a process to recognize community-based organizations. But the new AC, the new advisory circular, will have those, and that's going to be 9157C. We're told that it will cover the process, as I mentioned, for CBO recognition, the safety and knowledge test, and night operations in controlled airspace. So we expect that by the end of this year, and we're told that that will go to the Federal Register for public comments. So we'll have about 60 days to review that and make our comments known. That's something AMA will be keeping a close eye on, and we're happy to help our members with those comments and share what we feel are concerns in the advisory circular once that's published.
Yeah, and we're going to be sure to keep all you guys updated and informed when that advisory circular does come out. And for all other updates from our government affairs team, again, you can head over to modelaircraft.org/gov to stay up to date. Tyler, thank you so much for coming on and sharing those updates with us. Love having you on to kind of get the firsthand accounts of what's been going on in your guys' world.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Thanks, Terry.
You bet.
So it's time now to move on to what I consider my favorite part of the show, where we get to talk about iflyama. First of all, have you guys joined the iflyama Facebook group yet? Because if not, it's really easy. You just go to facebook.com/groups/iflyama. You click that join button, answer a couple of quick questions, and there you are. Terry, I'm assuming you've already made that choice to go be a member of the iflyama Facebook group.
Yes, you assume correctly.
There's just so much cool content out there for folks to enjoy, and it comes directly from you guys. So if you haven't gone and joined that group yet, I encourage you to do so. But now it's time for us to tell you a little bit about some of the cool stuff we found this week. Now, I want to let you guys know we're going to announce the winner of the ibuildama contest in just a little bit. So stick around for that. These posts that we've chosen don't actually play any role into that, but I think they might have been entries. But we're going to talk about these for just a quick second. I want Terry to start. Terry, what did you find out there in the iflyama Facebook group that caught your eye?
Well, one of the things that I like about that group is that it covers the full spectrum of aero modeling, from teeny tiny stuff all the way up to giant scale gassers and pretty much everything in between, whether it's fixed wing or rotary wing or whatever, it's all there. And so one post kind of stood out to me because it crosses over a few of those thresholds. It's a Fokker D7 that was built by Doug Allen. And what's interesting is that the kit was originally designed for free flight rubber power. And Doug, apparently like me, loves to tinker with things. So he converted that model into an electric powered RC model. And it looks fabulous. And with me being in Buffalo right now, the thoughts that come into my head is, we're entering indoor season. And a model like this would be great for flying indoors.
Absolutely. That is a gorgeous model. And yeah, the things that I always get excited about is when I see people, taking something that already exists and like you said, just tinkering around with it and converting it into something that's more useful to them. And he's obviously done that by turning a rubber powered aircraft into a full electric. That's so cool. I love that aircraft. That is a great find. Great find.
Good job, Doug.
So I'm going to jump in and let you guys know about something that I found. And I'll tell you, if you've been watching the show lately, you probably already know this about me. I love October. I love Halloween. I love all things spooky. And this post, when I saw it, it was just game over. I said, no, this has to be my pick for this episode. This post was shared by Alex Sutton from the Silent Electric Flyers in San Diego. They're celebrating Halloween with something unexplainable and perhaps a little wicked. And it was sighted flying over their field. It is a flying witch. That's right, a flying witch. You got to love it. This was built by Otto Diefenbach. And I tell you, that's just the coolest. If I would have showed up at a club field and saw this flying around, I don't think you could have gotten me to leave without giving it a shot, because that is too cool.
I agree. I've seen a few variations of this type of model over the years, and this one just kind of hits all the points. It looks accurate, as accurate as any other flying witch, but it flies nice and slowly, so you can really see it and appreciate it. So super job on this.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. So kudos to you guys for posting that. Again, if you guys want to get in on this action, all you got to do is go to facebook.com/group/iflyama to join the group. It's totally free. Doesn't cost you a thing, just to answer a couple of questions. And there you go. You get to be in on the fun. But we're not done with the group yet, because we are at the first of the month. And it's time to announce our November cover photo contest winner. Terry, I'm going to let you do the honors for this one. Take it away.
Okay. This was interesting because you gave me a sneak peek of the winner. And when I saw it, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I think I've seen that model before. And it's a really cool model. It's an RC scale model of a Huey helicopter, which is just kind of the quintessential helicopter. And this one is owned by Michael Rosnick of Houston, Texas. So congratulations to Michael. And the reason I have a history with this particular model is because my co-host on the RC Roundtable live in Houston, and they run into Michael at several of the events around there. So I've seen photos of this helicopter before. It's unforgettable. It's not one you just pass off.
No, it is an absolute gorgeous aircraft. I might be wrong, so somebody correct me in the comments, but I think this might even be the first helicopter we've had as a cover photo winner. So huge congratulations to Michael Rosnick for sharing that photo and giving us a chance to enjoy the beauty that is that Huey. See what I did there? But congratulations to him, and he'll be up. That photo, I should say, will be at our cover photo for iflyama throughout the month of November. So be sure to go check that out. That'll be going up very, very soon. But there is actually something else that we get to announce right here, because it's the first of the month. If you guys have been watching, you'll know it's time to announce the brand new Club of the Month for the month of November. And I am very, very honored to announce that the Torrey Pines Gulls will be the November Club of the Month here at the AMA, one of the first AMA chartered clubs dedicated solely to RC soaring. They're celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, which is a huge accomplishment. The Gulls operate 3 fields in San Diego County: the Torrey Pines Glider Port in La Jolla, which was the first national aeromodeling historic landmark dedicated by the AMA, as well as the Poway Flight Center in Poway and Encinitas Flight Center in Encinitas, all used for various disciplines of soaring, such as thermal, winch, discus launch, and of course, slope soaring. They have played host to the International Hand Launch Glider Festival for 25 years and helped in the development of FAI F3K as an aero modeling discipline. They've also helped preserve and promote the history of soaring in San Diego County and the importance of locations like the Torrey Pines Glider Port for future generations to enjoy. So congratulations again to the Torrey Pines Gulls. They are November's Club of the Month. Terry, have you ever had a chance to go out to visit the glider port?
No, I have not been there. I live on the opposite coast, so it's kind of a far commute. But I can tell you that I've heard stories about the glider port there, and they say you can throw anything over the edge and slope soar it at Torrey Pines. So it has long been on my short list of places that I have to visit, my RC bucket list of fields to visit. So yeah, I need to check it out.
We've got a few people here on staff, Jay Smith, editor of Model Aviation Magazine, being one of them, who got to go out there and got to fly at the Torrey Pines Glider Port. And I am more than a little jealous. So I've got to make my way out there. Once the world opens up back to normal one day, that's going to be on the first of my list to go visit. So
I'll meet you there.
Yeah, there you go. I'm down. Congratulations again to the Torrey Pines Gulls. So we're going to have them on the AMA podcast sometime during the month of November, and they'll also be sprinkled out through our social media channels as well, so you can learn more about them there. And you can also go to modelaircraft.org/clubs to learn more about them as well. Let's jump over to Build Month. So we've got a few things just to touch on because we're wrapping up Build Month. Model Aviation Build Month, we were celebrating building all throughout the month of October. Your last chance to save some cash when you order at the AMA's plan service using that code AMA20 at checkout. That code will be good through the end of the day tomorrow. That's Saturday at 11:59 p.m. That's when that's going to be the cutoff. So get those orders in to get that 20% off. And you can go to modelaircraft.org/plans to do that. But let's be honest, that's not why you're here. You're here to find out who's taking home that glue. I mean, I'm excited to tell you about it. Terry, you excited to tell them about who's going to win the glue?
Sort of excited and a little bit jealous. It's a pretty good stash of glue there.
It's a huge stash of glue that was donated by Bob Smith Industries. First of all, huge thank you to Bob Smith Industries for doing that. We had a ton of people that entered into this contest. We took all those entries, we stuck them into a spreadsheet and used a random number generator to define the winner. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner. Are you ready? I need a drum roll. Do we have a drum roll? Can I get a... Okay. Our winner for the Bob Smith Industries prize pack goes to Zachary Pilot on Facebook. I'm guessing his last name's not Pilot, but that's what he goes by on Facebook. He shared this photo of his free wing AL-37 with custom graphics from Cali Graphics. Gorgeous build that he has there. So Zachary, congratulations. You're going to get this prize pack of glue. All you need to do is to send us a direct message on one of our social media channels, or you can contact us at amaair@modelaircraft.org so we can verify your eligibility and send you all of that wonderful glue that you got coming your way. So congratulations to Zachary.
Way to go.
And guys, here's we're drawing to the close of Build Month, but the good news is you can extend Build Month throughout the rest of the year if you want to, because modelaircraft.org/ibuildama has been our landing page for this month for AMA Model Aviation Build Month. We're going to leave that page up. So all of that content's going to be there for you to enjoy for the rest of the year and into 2021 even. And we want you guys to keep on posting using that hashtag, because we've been having a blast seeing your builds and the progress you guys have been making throughout this month. And I want to make this a year-round thing. It's almost like we can extend October into year-round, which would be my dream.
Well, I think we actually have. If October is Build Month, then 2020 has been Build Year. If there are any silver linings in all of the COVID stuff going on, this is probably it. I think a lot of someday projects were finally taken off the shelf and put on the workbench. So
I agree with you.
There'll be a flood. And for me, I've been able to get to a few projects that were just put off to someday. So hopefully a lot of other people have as well.
Absolutely. It's a really great way to see some silver lining in all of this. But we've also come to the end of our show. And before we sign off, I have to say a huge thank you to Terry for coming on and co-hosting with me today. Terry, before we get out of here and let everybody go, why don't you once again tell everybody where they can find all of your various projects you got going on?
Well, kind of the hub of all this is rcroundtable.com. And on that page, you can listen to our podcast. There's also links to all of our social media channels with Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And on those different social media outlets, we have some of our own projects. We also have photos from the events that we attend, just anything and everything that's involved with the show we put out there. We also like to share the projects of our listeners. So just plenty of time-killing stuff out there to look at. So start at rcroundtable.com, and it all branches out from there.
I got to tell you guys, if you've not subscribed to their show, go do it, because between Terry, Fitz, and Lee, these three guys are just an incredible wealth of knowledge when it comes to RC stuff. And you learn a lot just from listening to their show, and they do some really cool video streams as well. So go get subscribed to their show, rcroundtable.com. Terry, again, thank you so much for helping us out today. And for all you guys watching, be sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe down below. That helps us out a ton. So be sure you do that.
There may be some of you out there who are watching this but are not members of the AMA. And if you're one of those people, I would encourage you to go to modelaircraft.org and just kind of click around, get a feel for the benefits that the AMA offers, and consider supporting the organization that supports aeromodeling.
Absolutely. And then for everybody here at the AMA, thank you so much for watching this week. We'll see you guys next time.